Okay, so you can write the heading, co-functions. Co-functions is if you have 90 degrees plus theta, 90 degrees minus theta, 270 degrees plus theta, or 270 degrees minus theta. Okay, so I said there's a reason why I taught you the 180 and 360 first. 180 and 360 can only change the sign. 90 and 270 can change the sign and the function to a co-function. But you are still going to start with the sign. Don't listen to me. Don't do it in a different order. You first do the sign, then you go and see if the function can change. And I'm going to show you why this is important in a minute. So if I have 90 degrees minus, né? If I have 90 degrees minus, in which quadrant is that? Must I draw the cast again for you? There's 0, there's 90, there's 180, there's 270, there's 360. We always move in an anti-clockwise direction when we move, in a positive direction, and clockwise when we move in a negative direction. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, C, A, S, T. Okay. 90 minus theta, which quadrant? Whose is it? Was it there? Was it underneath yours? Oh, I know whose it is. Shh, when he comes in, you say nothing. Did you put it on silent? No. You put it on silent. You must keep straight face, no? It's gonna come now. He's dying inside because it's in my class. It's a boy. Okay. 90 minus is in the first quadrant. What is sin in the first quadrant? Positive. So normally we wouldn't write a plus. I'm just going to write a plus so you see. I did that. I did the sign. Now if this was yesterday, it would have said 180 or 360, né? Then we would just go on writing sin theta. But now because we're doing co-functions, we know that when it's 90 or 270 plus or minus, all that's going to happen is the sin changes into cos. So it's cos theta. Done. Because sin at 90 degrees. Sin at 90 degrees. Sin at 90 degrees is cos. Sin at 90 degrees is the cos function. Okay. Right, next up. 90 degrees minus theta. Which quadrant? First. What is cos in the first quadrant? Positive. Because it's 90. Sin theta. Klaar. Okay. Now with C and D, this is just, if you just follow the rules and follow the order in which we're going to do it, you won't get into trouble. But if you're going to do it in a different order, then you're going to get into trouble here. You're going to question yourself. Alright, 90 degrees plus, which quadrant? Second. What is sin in the second? Remember I said, do it in the correct order. Okay, so I changed the sign first because of the quadrant. Then I change the function to cos theta. Now, if you didn't do it in the correct order, you might have changed the sin to cos first. And then you go and check the sign. Now you see, you're going to question yourself. Because in the second quadrant, cos is negative, but sin is positive. So which one must I choose now? You choose the one that you start with because you didn't do it in the right order if you changed the function first. Okay? You change the sign because of the quadrant. Then you change the function. Okay. So if I look at this one, you don't go and write cos, change the cos to sin and then do the sign. You go and look which quadrant am I in? Second. What is cos in the second? Negative. Now you change the cos to a sin theta. Do you understand? Alright, 90 plus theta. And please, grade 11s, if you're still feeling unsure about which quadrant it is and what, go and draw it for you. Have it there by you so you can get used to it. 90 plus, which quadrant? 360 minus. Okay. What is cos in the second? But it's 90, do you see? So it's not going to be negative cos theta, it's going to be negative sin theta. And then, what is sin in the fourth quadrant? Negative. And then, does it have to change to cos? No, because 0, 180 and 360, they are all the same. Ne? They're at the same position on the graph. So it just stays sin theta. And then what's the answer? 1. Okay, you are going to try this one by yourself, ne? So it can either be like yesterday's, where you just change the sign, but the function stays the same, or today we learn you can change the sign or the function. Okay, are you done? Tell me, sin 360 minus which quadrant? 90 plus. 90 minus. 360 minus. Okay. Sin in the fourth quadrant. Does it change? Sin in the second. Does it change? Cos in the first. Does it change? Cos in the fourth. Does it change? What's my answer? Maklik. Let's try this one. That B is just, that's the angle sign for B. It's called beta. Okay? Now it says 270 instead of 90 degrees. But it stays the same. Which quadrant? Go and look at your cast diagram. Third. What is sin in the third quadrant? Negative. But you see, this is a co-value. 90 and 270. It's the co-values. So, does sin have to change? Yes, so it just becomes negative sin beta. Ach, negative cos beta. I'm writing and saying different things. Do you understand? Huh? Okay. Let's quickly write exercise 2, page 144. Okay, let's do 2a together. Okay, 180 plus. Third quadrant. 90 minus. 90 plus. 180 minus. Okay, you see, you got the hang of it now. We have a choir going here. Right. Cos in the third quadrant. Negative. Must it change? No. Cos in the first? Positive. Must it change? Yes. That's what it looks like. Right, sin in the second. Positive must it change? Sin in the second. Must it change? And then my answer is -1. So just listen to me quickly, ne? In an exam, you literally get the mark for getting it perfectly right. So let's say you made a mistake, you changed or you made this one positive and you made this one negative. Can you see that you can still get to the right answer, but you made 2 mistakes? Can you all see that? So don't be mad at me when I mark it wrong, even though the answer is right. I have to mark each one. So you will either get 1 mark for the numerator, for everything being correct there, and 1 mark for the denominator for everything being correct there, and then 1 mark for the answer. Or you're going to get 1 mark for each one and then the answer. So take your time, make sure that you write it correctly, that you don't make a mistake with the signs, because then even if you get to the right answer, that just means you made more than 1 mistake. If you still get to the right answer. Okay. C. Okay, so I heard you were all hurrying for this one. The only difference is it's not numerator denominator. But have you noticed that all of these sums, they work out to pretty simple answers. They clean up well. Ne? Okay. So I expect when I'm done with this term, you see there are 2 terms. Ne? When I'm done with this term and this term, that they should look pretty much alike, so that I can add them or subtract them and get one simple answer. That's what I expect. Okay. I'm sure it's going to happen. It should happen. Okay. So we're going to start 180 plus which quadrant? 90 plus? 360 minus? 180 minus? Second. Okay. So let me just show you our problem at this stage. These terms are different because it's tan cos, and this one is sin tan. But now I immediately see that that cos has got a 90. So it's going to change into sin. So you see, what I want to happen is going to happen. Right, tan in the third is positives, therefore it's just tan theta. Right, cos in the second. Negative and sin. Sin in the fourth? Negative, does it change? No. Tan in the second? Negative, does it change? No, tan can't change, ne? Okay, while you're looking or writing that down, I just want to say, the Afrikaans class asked about if it was okay, because you'll see at the stage, you're going to choose yourself whether you use 180 or 90. Will they be penalized for using 90 with tan? Okay, so listen to me. You're not going to be penalized. If you use tan and 90, then you're going to change it mostly to cot. Né? But then you're going to have to realize that you're going to have to change everything, all the tans, to cot for it to cancel out, because you can't cancel a tan and a cot with each other. You're going to have to change it to co to get it to cot to cancel it out. So I wouldn't say that it's a very good idea, but if you did it and you do it correctly, then I cannot penalize you. You must get full marks. Okay. But for all the activities and sums that we're going to do, we only use sin and cos with the co-function. Okay, now did you notice here, this is going to be minus tan sin theta. And this one is going to be plus tan theta sin theta. I just shuffled them. Doesn't make a difference. So I have minus something plus the same something, and then my answer is 0. Okay, question 3a, I just want to do with you. I just want to show you that even if it's a co-function, the square thing stays the same. Okay, so I've got sin squared 180 plus theta. Which quadrant is that? Third. And then 90 minus is first. Okay, so sin squared in the third, it's negative, but the square makes it positive. Do you all get that? Okay, so it's sin squared theta. Now the second one, it's positive, but even if it was negative, the square would make it positive again, and that minus would remain. Okay, and then because it's 90, even though it's a square, that cos will change into sin. So I've got sin squared minus sin squared, and then my answer is 0. Are you done? Okay. Now I just want to show you the homework that you're actually going to do for tomorrow. And that's what I said a couple of minutes ago. Remember, I said you are going to choose yourself. So when you look at that thing, now we're not using a variable, we're using an actual value. Okay? But it might as well have been a variable. We're not going to calculate it with a calculator. Okay. So I've got sin 290. Can you all see that's not in its simplest form? It's not a reference angle. Because it's not between 0 and 90. So I have to change that thing. I have to do something like sin bracket bracket or sin bracket bracket. I must do a sum inside of that bracket, and the result must be 290. Who has a plan? What can I put in that bracket to get it to change into a reference angle? Nonkeba says, maybe I can put in 270 minus 20 degrees. That gives me 290. Plus. Right, is there something else that I can use? 180 would be 180 plus 110. So you hear 110 is not an acute angle. 360 minus 70 degrees. Okay. Why do we choose 270 and 360 or 90 and 180? Because those are the critical points. Ne? You can't just choose 300 minus 10. Okay? 300 is nowhere. We don't even know where it is. Okay, so we choose the critical points. Alright. Now I'm going to look at both of them. 270 plus which quadrant? Fourth. 90, 270 plus, that puts me in the fourth quadrant. What is sin in the fourth quadrant? Negative. And then what's my answer going to be? because it's a co-value. Okay. 360 minus which quadrant? What is sin in the fourth? Must it change? What's it going to be? Negative cos 20. Negative 0,939. You see? Negative sin 70. Negative 0,939. They are both the same. There's not one that's more correct than the other. You are going to choose in a sum which one you prefer to use. Now, I am just saying, and I know the work is new, but I also haven't been teaching grade 11 for 1 year. I've been teaching it for many years. Listen to me. If it's not necessary to choose the co-value, then don't. Because just now, when I asked, what's it going to be, you were already wondering, is it sin or is it cos? Did you hear that? But those 360, you guys knew immediately. It's going to stay sin. So what we're working towards, and I just want to show you very quickly. I will open this page again. I want to show you. Like for instance there, look at that fraction there. I have a cos 20 degrees and I have a sin 250. So that sin 250 can either be 180 plus 70. Or if it is 180 plus 70, I would end up with sin 70. Which would not necessarily be the same, okay? But if I use the co-function and I say 270 minus 20, it's going to change to cos and it's going to change to 20 degrees and then they can cancel out. That's what I mean when here it is necessary. Okay, do you understand why it's necessary? Cos 20 over sin 70, we don't know that that's the same. But cos 20 over cos 20, yes, cancel out, the answer is 1. Okay, so but we're going to get to that. I just want you to understand that there is going to be a situation where you have the choice to make. Okay, I'm going to take the next one. This is a very easy one. It's tan, so we know tan can't be co, ne? But you can see that's not reference. 197. How can I write it? Tan what? Okay. 180 plus which quadrant? Third. What is tan in the third? So it's positive tan 17. That means that the tan of 197 will give you the exact same answer as the tan of 17. Okay, cos 120, can you see it's not reference? Okay, so there are two options because it's cos. Ne? With sin and cos, we always have two options. It's only with tan, we only have one. What can I write in the bracket? 90 plus 30. You see, you're already choosing the co first. Ne? Don't. What's the other one? Okay, cos 90 plus which quadrant? Second. What is cos in the second? Negative sin 30 degrees. 180 minus, still in the second. What's the answer? And you can check both of those answers will be negative half. You're going to do exercise 3 for me. It's on page 145. I'm just quickly going to show it here. It's from A to I. So it's all of these values that aren't in the reference angle value. So you're going to have to go and make the choice. 90 plus minus, 180 plus minus, 270 plus minus, 360 plus minus. Remember, when it's tan, you don't use cofunctions. Okay? You just use 180 or 360. And then the value afterwards, after the plus, that must be an acute angle. It must be reference. It must be smaller than 90 degrees. Do you all understand that? So if it says 180 plus 100 degrees, it's wrong. Then you chose the wrong value to add and subtract. Alright, you can pack away your books. The bell is going to go in a minute. I just want to ask you, please, you can sommer mark these ones at the back of your textbook. Then tomorrow we can start with negative angles. So we did the first ones with the 180 and 360. Then we're doing the cofunctions. Then we're doing the negative angles tomorrow. And those are the only ones. Okay. Please remember to mark at the back of your book.